Okay, welcome. Week 1, patch 1, January 2023. It's our year-long patch challenge. Just getting started. Before we get started, I want to go over just a couple quick, really basic terms to slightly less basic terms, but just so we all are on the same page of understanding. Because at least some of the people that want to follow along with this are actually pretty new to the whole thing, I know for a fact, because I've talked to you online about this exact thing. So, what we have here is a modular synthesizer. I go into some detail about what's in it, but conceptually what it is a device for making sounds, wherein I have chosen all of the individual components, the modules. Here, this is one, this is a different, all different. As you can see, they look a little different. They have different sort of designs on them, whatever. So you can tell that this is a bespoke or, very customized, personalized selection of modules. And what we do, a patch, is connecting all the modules together with these patch cables to create a subsystem of this larger system to make a specific kind of sound. Okay. And today, to kick off our patch challenge, we're going to do one of the most basic version of the most basic patch. I would say 95% of modular systems, that might be a high number just because they are very diverse, but close to that, it's got to be like 90%. Of modular systems can do some version of this patch, if not exactly how I have it set up, with more or less flexibility. Some systems are dedicated entirely into doing this kind of patch. Obviously, if you were going to dedicate a whole system to it, you would have a lot more going on than what we have going on today. But we've created a very simple patch today to just to introduce us to the concepts. Okay, so there's two things to look at here. One is the audio flow. I've color-coded them, for easy reference on screen here. Hopefully, if you can't see color, I apologize. I don't have any other way actually to color or to do this on screen. So hopefully you can follow along without the helpful color identifiers. Anyway, so start with the audio signal flow. That starts here in the oscillator. This is the Clavis Twin Waves oscillator. Right now I have it set up. As you can probably see that little green screen there, making a little rectangle. This is a square or pulse wave that I have playing right now. This top, it's being controlled by an off-screen keyboard. The hows and whys of that are not all that important, but that's what this pink cable is. And this pink cable here too actually is. This pink cable here too is for the control, just the basic control, just triggering notes and telling them what pitch. It's basically MIDI control if you're familiar with that, although it's not actually MIDI. Again, we'll go into that later, but right now just know that that's how I turn, that's how I'm playing it. So this is Clavis Twin Waves. This is the oscillator. This is where our signal flow starts. The screen is the output. It goes here to the input of this Doepfer A1065 SEM style filter. This is a very classic filter. You might be familiar with it as the filter from the Mini Freak or the Micro Freak if you have either of those synthesizers. It's not identical, but it's essentially the same. They're both clones of the same Oberheim synthesizer expander module filter. Classic topology or design. Anyway, goes from that filter into this VCA right here. This is the Chaos Devices Talon. And then that goes to our output module, which we won't really talk about that too much. It's just an output module. It goes there, and that helps me set the final volume before I send it to the mix. So the green is the audio, like I said, and then these yellow and pink and purple cables that you see are the various control. The pink ones, or magenta, violet, whatever you want to call those again are just a keyboard that's controlling things off screen. We'll go into detail of how all that works later, in different ways that you can control it that get a little more interesting than just plugging a keyboard in. But the important parts, the modulation, parts of it are all coming from this bad boy right here, which is the Pittsburgh Lifeforms mod tools. This is a fantastic module. It's a real shame it's not available anymore. It is a little bit of a Swiss Army knife, and as you get further into modular, you need fewer and fewer Swiss Army knives and more like precision instruments. But I have kept it around because it's just a lot of useful stuff in a pretty tight package. So right now we're going to try and use we're only using about half of it, and it's all we need to control this entire patch, other than the just the actual keyboard saying, all right, turn the note on, it's this pitch. Anyway, top up here, we have an envelope generator, and we have that controlling both the volume of the VCA. It's with this yellow, this goes to the VCF here, the filter, and the VCA. So it's both the volume to the VCA and also the tone, if you will, or where the filter is, how many harmonics you're hearing, how many are being cut out from the filter. That's a pretty primitive, a rustic design, if you will, to have one envelope controlling both. But it's certainly a lot of classic monosynths, that's how they're set up, or they're set up to simply gate, i.e. turn it on and off the VCA, so it's just at full volume as soon as you touch the key, and there's no enveloping. Another way to do that, and then just use the envelope on your filter so you can have a little more timbre control without having it also be identical to what your amplitude is doing. But, okay, I think I'm rambling a little bit here. Basically, yeah, we've got a little monosynth. Last thing, this purple cable here is controlling the pulse width modulation of the oscillator, of the Clavis twin waves, the square wave, the pulse wave. And this is a free running LFO in sine mode at the bottom here, as you can tell. It goes faster as I turn the knob up, all the way up into basically audio range. But here you'll actually be able to hear what you're seeing. You see that red light change in time to that timbral change you're hearing as the pulse width is changed. Okay. As you can see, even a very simple patch like this is arguably sounds pretty good. I'll stop talking in just a second here and just play it for a minute, and so you can get a better idea of it, and we'll get a direct feed instead of this phone camera feed. But yep, that is the patch number 1. Next week we will complicate that. We're going to use this same core patch, but we're going to add a bunch of more interesting controls, more envelopes, more interesting modulator shapes. We're going to, ditch this LFO. Maybe we'll get into some sample and hold, some slewed stuff, and we'll make a really wild and interesting monosynth patch that'll be a lot more complex than this. But it won't be a huge jump. We'll only add, we'll add 2 or maybe 3 more modules to this design. And again, we're going to be starting from this core. Now, if I've gone too fast or way too slow, also a possibility, please let me know in the comments, either here or on my blog, here on the video, that is to say, or on the blog. And if you have specific questions about, okay, I understood everything except this, or maybe you didn't understand any of it and you need me to go over the whole thing again, just let me know, and I will try to do that in some way, shape, or form before the next one, whether it's a recap or hitting some of the points that were confusing. And yeah, thanks for following along with my rambling ass style. I'm just going to let this play for a minute.